I was waiting for the clock to start.
Oh.
Oh, no, I unplugged it by accident.
God dang it,
So it's in the
Raul.
ceiling.
Yeah.
Didn't your clock used to be bigger? Your clock looks smaller than usual, Raul.
It's cold in here, man.
Raul's internal clock is going off. Look, hey, everybody, we're back grabbing the brisket, too. We are a couple of guys down. I don't know. It seems like every week. It's just
Every week. We cannot get everybody to show up.
We can't, and maybe that's a good thing. If we get everybody in here, I mean,
Yeah.
just the personalities and everybody's heads, it'd just be throughout the roof. We'd be good.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even be started right now. We'd be like just still bullshitting.
Waiting for Jan?
Waiting for Jan. Yeah, Jan. If anybody knows, we get here and Jan's like, let me. Can we change the camera angles?
And all the lighting. Can we
All
get
the
new bulbs in
lightings.
here tonight?
Yes. Yeah, he's got a ladder
Every
up here,
night.
just like loosening stuff up, and then he's like, he's like, let me see, and he's like, okay, well, he's got to get up and go around and look at the monitor.
Hey, sit in my spot. Sit in my spot
Sit in
for
my
me.
spot. Yeah, I mean, he's a perfectionist, and I do commend him, and we appreciate them. We definitely need it on this show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but not tonight. I think we've got this under control. We have a great interview coming up here pretty quick. Michelle and Brandon Ogwin or Ogwin?
Ogwin?
I don't know.
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
We're going to find that out.
We have bets going.
Yeah.
So it is always amazing to me when you post something, social media, when you think it's going to kill, and you know it's going to kill, but there's just that just slight little moment of like, shit, what if nobody likes it? You know what I mean? You're like, but then you always got those freaking assholes
there's
that
always
just
one.
like, oh, you wrapped it in tinfoil?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, yeah, you're a serial killer. Like that's
There's no foil made out of tin anymore, right?
right, 100%. I do. I mean, but like, who wants to say aluminum foil all the time? But we posted that brisket. We'll get into the little cook a little bit in a minute or two. But dude, how's your week been?
I've been working, man. Like, I don't know what the deal is. My wife's been making me actually go to work. It's been ridiculous. Unfair.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is. It really is. My best life is over, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't
Did you
know.
do any cool stuff?
You mean while I was working?
Yeah.
No. I put out another newsletter for us. If you guys aren't subscribed to the newsletter, go do that. You can reach out to us, info@grabbingbrisket.com. We'll get you hooked up. That just went out. We talked about our trip out there to Houston.
Okay.
That was fun. So, and there's a video for that too. So our buddy Raul put that together. So if y'all haven't seen that, go see it.
Yeah. I saw two things interesting this week. One of them was an off-color story, meaning it's not related to barbecue, and the other one is related to barbecue. And I'll get into one which I thought was kind of interesting. You had a mother-daughter duo entrepreneur that was just traveling across the country. Like they found a need. They found a service that people were needing, and so they provided that said service. They started out in California, and I guess maybe they got in a little bit of trouble over in California, and they're like, you know what? Hey, we're just going to take our business across country, and we're going to head to Texas. And then and they did, and you know what? They were just they got arrested.
What were they doing, James?
They did,
You're gonna beat around this bush? You're gonna tell
I
us
was trying to beat around just a little bit just to draw out the dramatics of this. But yeah, here locally, Cyprus, they had a mother-daughter duo that was traveling across the country in an RV that they were giving, I guess you would call them BBLs in their van.
BBLs?
Yeah.
Like Brazilian butt lifts?
Correct.
In a van?
In a van.
That doesn't
Down
seem
by the
safe.
river.
Does not seem safe.
This seems
at all.
legit.
Yeah, no. You can Google it. They got arrested on it. A, the mother is 60 or 58. B, the daughter was 18. And I was like, man, shit, that's a pretty big age gap there. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm like, holy shit. Also, they were charging $6,000 a pop. You know,
That's actually not a bad deal for a BBL.
that's what people were probably doing out there because they had paid customers just lined up to get their service, and then they were also like, I guess they put an undercover cop, the little sting or whatever, and they're like, here, take some Xanax. This will just knock off the edge, so you're not so nervous or whatever. But
So I assume she's an actual surgeon, maybe?
I don't know. I don't know.
So how does that work if it's in a van? The daughter, I assume, is working reception. She's like, just sit in our waiting area, which is like a lawn chair out front.
Look,
or
honestly, nobody has time to go to the doctor anymore, right?
Right.
You want the
We'll
doctor
come to
to
you.
come to you. Just like right to your freaking driveway. Let's
oh my
go.
God. That's a whole different thing. Like, whatever. You want to get a BBL, you want to get plastic surgery, go ahead. But
All for it.
Some of them are crazy. So this is related to your off-color, whatever you called it.
Yeah.
We fly in and out of Miami with my work, flight attendant. There's a lot of people that go to Miami just to get their butt lifts. Like that's like a thing. You know it's there and you can see them. When we're walking up to the gate, when we're getting ready to fly out of Miami, go back to wherever it is we're going next, you can see them because everybody's sitting in the gate area except for them. They're just standing there. They got the compression socks on and they're standing there.
Oh shit! I was about to say, are they like just cocked to one side? Just
not
like,
yet. Not yet.
yeah,
They're just standing. They won't sit because
Got
once
one of
you
those.
sit, you like.
hemorrhoid pillows or something.
They have those too, yeah. But once they get on the plane, they still don't want to sit. And it's time to go.
Yeah.
And they're standing. And we're like, you have to sit down. And you know what they do? They hand you a doctor's note. Like, oh, my doctor said I don't have to sit. Like, I'm like, well, the FAA says that you have to sit your ass down or you're going to get off the plane.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then, they'll do it. Eventually they'll sit down on their donut or whatever. But as soon as that seatbelt sign comes off or as soon as we get up in the air.
Oh, I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, they're up or they're turned around and they're kneeling in front of their seat like it's prayer time or something. It's just crazy. And there's so many of them.
So I just pulled up the two pictures of the mother and daughter.
You have to show.
Yikes!
You have to show. Can we show the article or?
I will show it.
Okay.
But yes, and you know what cracks me up is that the Houston Police Officers Union made a comment on their post and was like, hopefully law enforcement is seizing their assets.
I get it.
The dad jokes coming out.
Assets.
Yes,
I get it. That's good.
They also talked about in a related article talking about because I guess here in the Houston area there was also another instance where a lady had received a boob lift at her dentist's office.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so you could just get that cavity filled and also get
A little Novocaine. Let me pump them suckers up.
I'm all for getting deals, 2-for-1 type stuff, but that seems a little extreme.
I think they just put like balloons in there and then use a little air blower thing. Just okay.
Yeah.
Probably good. That's probably enough of that.
I feel like Jan is here.
Yep.
Yeah. We are getting pretty stupid.
So yeah, that was pretty interesting. But one thing that did catch my eye, and this sounds very just fake, very grifter-like type, but this is an actual real thing that's going on in China. They're selling grilled ice.
Grilled ice.
Grilled ice. So yeah, the New York Post posted a video, and for people out there, we're not going to show you the video, but you can see kind of a little screenshot of the picture.
Oh, yeah.
They're
She's
putting
using
ice over a charcoal grill, and he brushes it with like oil, and then he goes in and throws some type of sauce on it with some chili flakes and maybe some other seasonings or whatever, and then boom, straight into the little cup or the little the bowl there. But the funny thing is when you watch the video, the lady, it's translated and she's like, should I eat it hot or cold? And he's like, yeah,
She's
eat
using
it
chopsticks
right,
on
eat
her
it
ice
hot.
cubes.
And so yeah, she was like, oh okay, eat it hot. And
It can't be hot. What do you mean? How can it be hot?
I don't know.
I mean, he's like cooking. Oh, the fire keeps going out. It's
Yeah.
melting. Like,
But, I mean,
what the hell?
Yeah, what a hell of a salesman. I mean, right? It's like you could sell frozen water
Literally
to
selling
anybody.
ice.
It's like, yeah, the guy next to him, he's like marinated meat and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like nice lavachi. He's like all this like stuff. And
Looking
he's like,
over.
homie over here is just selling grilled ice. Like, and he reaches in and just scoops in a scoop of ice and just like puts it on the grill. I'm like,
That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
he's getting paid.
Yeah, what do they charge for a grilled ice? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
It's got to be more than just a cup of water, right?
I would assume there's a lot of work going into this.
Where's that water coming from?
That's a good question. All right, grilled ice.
Grilled
Love
ice.
it. Maybe we'll try that.
Yeah, we should.
We should definitely make some grilled ice.
$2.
$2. Okay.
I mean, we sell We sell flavored ice. We sell seasoned ice, but when we call seasons, it's like usually like cherry flavored.
Yeah,
and
snow cones.
Snow cones.
Right.
We don't grill them.
I do like those.
Ooh, maybe we should grill some snow cones. Somebody's going to make $1 billion idea right there. Let's go.
So stupid.
That's dope. All right, we're moving on. I'm sorry. We're carrying on. So I cooked an Easter brisket this past weekend. Killer. Money. I mean, like, for me, I thought it was awesome. Jan thought it was great as well. I've been eating on it all week. Just brisket and eggs, and then just brisket for lunch, and brisket for dinner and stuff like that. But for me, it was good because I didn't get tired of it. You know what I mean? It was super tender, super juicy. And I post a picture, and I know Raul's gonna pull up it's a little shot of the
Sexy.
juiciness.
I like it.
So we posted it online socially, just like, hey, this is. Ooh,
Sorry.
No, you're good. We can talk about Senator John Cornyn's brisket.
Yeah.
But a lot of people had issues with, because there was a video that we posted prior talking about the 4-4 method that we discussed a couple of episodes ago, to where we're talking about just beginners and people that are just really trying to get into cooking brisket and just dial it in. This is an easy method just to produce a nice solid brisket. And if you do it right, you can still develop a pretty good bark. And it's tender and juicy. So when we put that video out, everybody just lost their freaking mind. They're like, no, I never use paper. Or, even our friends out there, they're just busting our balls about that.
Sure.
It's like, I never use paper, or why tinfoil, or why aluminum foil? Like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, I get it. I understand all the questions or whatever, but there were legit questions where people were like, okay, well, I'm intrigued. I want to learn more. I want to, what was the time temp? How long type deal that people were asking, and how do you wrap the brisket? Do you wrap the brisket? One guy was like, do you leave air in between? Like, do you tint it? Because I don't want the foil to touch the seasoning, and then it's going to like
Pull it off.
pull off the
If
seasoning.
it's set right, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but
Right.
you do not want to leave like an air pocket. You want everything so tightly close to that brisket that it really can't breathe. Because if you create any type of like bubble, you're going to produce steam, and you're going to get water vapors, and it's going to drop down, and it's going to make your seasoning kind of dissipate, or it's going to rehydrate your seasonings up.
It's exactly right. That brisket looked absolutely amazing.
Do you want to take a look at the video?
Yeah, let's show a little shot of it. There we go.
Okay. Look at that. Oh, that is juicy.
Look,
Perfect
yeah.
smoke ring. Perfect bark. I might do a brisket professor video on this.
Yeah, check out that bark. That bark was done using tinfoil. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that looks perfect.
Yeah, you don't have to use peach paper.
Yeah, that's a solid A-, bro.
Thank you, man. Brisket
That's
professor
A+.
in the house. Cheers.
We did actually get a question about, I think it's actually from your 4-4 method.
Okay.
If you want to hear it.
Let's do it.
This is from our buddy Greg 1492. Just out of curiosity, why rush the cook? In my experiences, I obtain a better bark and smoke ring at a lower, like 225 temperature. I won't start the foil versus paper argument, LOL. I'm not saying anything against this method's outcome. I've not seen or tasted it. Also, to each their own. So I guess his question is, why rush the cook? He feels like when you're doing 4-4, you're just, or when you're running at that temperature, you're speeding up the cook.
Right. Well, I guess it goes twofold. Like sometimes you just don't have enough time in the day to devote 16 hours to smoke a brisket. Now, there may be some people out there that have a pellet smoker or some type of electric smoker type deal where they can just wake up in the morning or in the evening, just put it on, dial it in, and just let it cook, which is nothing, no shade towards that. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
I do it all the time.
But there are people that all they have is an offset smoker, so sitting there manning a fire for 16 hours can be very daunting. You know what I mean? So it's just a way to kind of not really cheat the system, but you could still cook it long enough to where you develop a good bark and a good flavor. And we talked about this multiple times on the show, to where The meat is only going to accept so much smoke.
Yeah, once it hits, I think 140 or 145, it's not going to get anything else.
Correct. Yeah, and that's science. I don't make the science up. I mean, the science comes from the scientists, the meat scientists. I don't think we've really actually come up with a terminology for a meat scientist. I don't think it should be meat scientist, but maybe it's a.
We did. It's a meteorologist.
Meteorologist. Yeah, yes. I was going to say a myoglobin expert or some type of. Yeah, I don't know. We'll come up with something, but hopefully that kind of answered your question a little bit. It's like, look, I enjoy sitting out there for 16 hours, just knocking back a couple of tall boys and doing that. But I mean, man, life happens, right?
Right, and 16 hours, that's a long time. Even if you're starting at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're still not going to be done until 7 o'clock at night. I mean, unless you're starting it the night before and you're just going to sit there the whole time, that's a lot. And that recipe, I think I haven't done this before, but I think on a drum, that's probably a perfect recipe too, because those things, for the most part, they usually want to sit right around 275.
300,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect.
Dude, can you imagine sitting there just devote 16 hours to cook this brisket? Then you got to let it rest, right?
Yeah.
And then you let it rest, and then you pull it out and you start cutting into it, and that motherfucker's dry as shit. You just devoted like 24 hours of your life that you'll never get back. Yeah. And, again, no shade to doing that, because I do it. I've done it plenty of times, but there's just certain instances where can I just shorten it up a bit? And like I said, that's how I kind of learned in the very beginning to how to cook brisket. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a foolproof, and it says in the video, it's a foolproof method on how to cook video, because people still do struggle trying to get that tenderness. You know,
that's the key too.
Yeah,
that's the most important part.
And it's dry. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, why don't you tackle this first, and then after that, move on to
Right, then you can play with it. You can mess with it a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. I will say, when we cook on Johnny, especially when we fill that sucker up, put a bunch of briskets on there, you don't have any choice but to cook for 12 hours. That thing just hums along at like 250, 225. But it's part of what we always say is you got to know your pit, know how your pit wants to run. So just try it. Don't knock it till you try it. So
love it.
That's what I got.
Words of wisdom. Let's go.
Oh, that was our buddy Greg. So
thank you, Greg.
Greg, you're going to be our winner. Our winner this week. You're going to win some
Sucklebusters. Everybody wants some Sucklebusters.
I like it.
Did I sound like Jan?
You sounded better.
Oh, damn.
Sorry, Jan.
He's fired.
Yeah. We're going to get somebody to take that clip and Jan's clip, and then we're going to have it harmonized and put some beats behind it, and then now we have our intro.
Little auto tone.
Definitely a lot of tune on it. Let's go.
All the auto tone.
Right.
What's it called? Auto tone?
Auto tune, yeah.
Auto tune.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, a bunch of that stuff. I was going to say something else and it's gone. I don't know where it went. Oh, if you have a question for us you want to send in, or if you have barbecue win or barbecue fail and you want to win some Sucklebuster seasoning like our boy Greg just did, hit us up. It's 434-829-2299, and that's just a voicemail line. There'll be a beep. Well, there'll be a message. Then there'll be a beep. Then you leave your message and we're going to share it. Or you can email us or message us online like Greg did at any of our social medias. So reach out.
Yeah. Hit us up on our pager too. We still got that pager going. So I know we're old as fuck over here. So, but hey, it's Grabbing the Brisket podcast. I mean, this is it's a day that we look forward to every week. Get to share a couple of beers. We get to talk a little war stories as far as the barbecue go. And then we get to interview badass people like Michelle and Brandon come up here in a few minutes.
Absolutely. Do you want to dive into some barbecue news real quick, or do you want to drink some beers?
Let's do both.
Okay. All right. Well, first we'll do this barbecue news real quick, and this is some rerun action because we've been talking about this stuff for a couple weeks now. But the Sauces of Honor competition. If you're making barbecue sauces at the house that you think are the best on the planet, or if you have a company where you're mass producing or whatever it is, if you got some barbecue sauce you think is the best, send it in, enter this competition, be a winner. There's going to be a link down below. This is our buddy Kel Phelps over there with the Barbecue News magazine and the MBBQA. We didn't even do our consistencies. Yeah, so, I'm sorry. This is Hot Off the Grill Barbecue News. There it is. Wow. There it is. Am I rusty? Am I a little rusty?
You forgot the intro, man.
Sorry,
you just went right into it.
I really just dove in head first.
Yeah, just prematured it.
Sorry. Got excited, I guess. The next thing is, when you're hearing this, it's coming up in like a couple days. The Houston Barbecue Festival. This is April 14th. It's in Houston. All the information's down below again. It's at the, where is it at? Humble Civic Center Arena. So it's right here, right outside of Houston, I guess. We're going to be out there Sunday. It goes from 1 to 4.
Correct.
Is that right? And we're going to be out there having a good time, eating barbecue from all the best restaurants around Houston and the greater Houston area. So come see us.
Yeah. Now, I know they were offering VIP packages as well. And I know tickets are limited.
Yeah.
So hopefully by the time that this is reaching your ear holes,
Right. There's still some available?
There's some available.
Right.
And then you can jump in and get it.
Buy them online before you go. Because I'm pretty sure if you try to
Don't
get
show
them
up.
at the door, there you won't be able to.
Right.
Yeah. So get them ahead of time. That's all I got for the Hot Off the Grill barbecue news.
There it is. There it is.
I own it.
That's great.
All right. Do you want to? I feel like we're just like burning through this right now, but we can try a new beer if you want. Do you want to do?
Let's go into the Grabbing the Brisket
beer
review. So I feel like it gets weird when there's just two of us here
I don't
because
know. I thought it was sultry.
when there's like 20 of us here, everybody tries to go into their baritones. Like, you're like, fuck, guys, you normally don't have that voice. Why are you going deep like that? Just go normal.
Oh, I see. It's James's
Right.
thing.
That's
Let
my thing.
James
That's my
do
thing.
that.
I'm going to need you to stay in this range. I'm way down here, up, boys and men. Let's go. They all didn't have the same voice, right? So let me get into what we got.
I feel like I'm supposed to have like the Kermit the Frog voice. Every time I hear myself on the podcast, I'm like, God, I sound weird.
Hey, we can make it happen.
This is where you're supposed to say, no, you don't, John. You sound great.
no, you don't, bro.
God bless America.
My apologies.
What's going on in that ice chest over there? He's like really digging into it. I have been looking forward to this beer for almost an hour now.
Quite some time. So this was top shelf, John. This is literally top shelf at HEB.
Did you have to get help to reach it, or?
It wasn't that high, John. Shit. So this is a beer that when I first started getting into drinking non-light beer,
Craft beer?
Yeah, and when I got into drinking type craft beer, they always had them in the giant bottles, and you can get them at pretty much all the grocery stores or whatever. And it was this Trappist ale, and it's Chimay Trappist ale. So this is a Trappist Tripel ale. I don't know, never heard of them. I know when I was partaking in some of those things, like they each had a specific color label, and it kind of, I guess, signified what it was, what type of ale it was. And then there was a white label that you could only get in like maybe a several mile radius of where the
brewery?
beer is brewed by the monks. So I never had the white label. I know this is a white can. It's not
the white label.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Okay. It says product of Belgium, and it says can conditioned, which I don't know what that means. But it sounds like something. 8% alcohol by volume.
Yeah. It also says store in a cool place, and it also says serve at 42 degrees to 48 degrees or 46 degrees. That's some fine-ass print there.
Yeah, it's hard to read.
Did I fuck it up by just putting it in the cooler? Now it's like 32 degrees?
No, I like it cold.
Okay.
Middleton, MA, US. Is MA Massachusetts or is it Maine? I think it's Massachusetts.
I'm looking on the website. Nothing looks like it's in English. Where's it?
Belgium.
Okay. My dyslexia is really kicking in, I guess, or because this doesn't even look like. Oh, I have it on the wrong language.
Okay, yeah, that Middleton, Massachusetts, or whatever it is that's who's importing it.
Correct.
It's brewed and canned in SA something NV Belgium. Yeah.
There it is.
Bailou, Belgium. Yeah. Okay. I was going to make a joke about there being monks in Massachusetts.
I don't know what it means by conditioned.
That's what I said. I don't get it. And when you said Chimay earlier, I thought you meant chamoy and you were just pronouncing it weird.
Right, no.
But I think this is going to be different than that. It's always hard to smell out of a can.
Smells like beer.
You're so stupid. God dang it. There's only two of us. We have to kind of hold it together.
All right, let's do it.
okay. It kind of smelled like Heineken to me, which was not something I was liking, but it tastes good.
Tastes good.
Yeah, it tastes good. It's a little malty. Sweetness, but not like a sugary sweetness, like a bready sweetness. Does that make any sense at all?
No.
No. Okay, perfect.
Like yeasty.
Yeah, well, no. I don't want to say yeasty.
The yeasty boys, let's go.
No, it's good. This is good. I don't know. It's a cool looking can too. I don't know. Let me try to do my best Jan impression here. The can, well, it is. I mean, it's kind of off white. Like maybe this is like eggshell. Like I'm going to paint my kitchen. Oh, it's not white.
Really
It's eggshell.
Everything just looks the same.
Oh, the gold. They should have done different color. Can's fine. Taste, however, hold on. One more taste. No, this is good. I like this a lot.
8% ABV. I mean, that's nothing to.
Sneeze at?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
And it's smooth. It doesn't taste like it's an 8%er.
You almost think, like when you know it's an 8%, you almost think you're going to taste that little bite at the end, but it's really not there. It's really smooth. I would jump in there and score this thing. It's smooth. It's tasty. It's got a shit ton of flavor. I'll go, I'm going to go 8.4. This is really good. I like this a lot. I would drink it again. How much was this 6-pack? If you don't mind my asking.
I think it was roughly around $17.
Saying that.
And it wasn't a 6-pack. It was a 4-pack.
Oh, that stings. This is a special occasion beer.
It's imported, so.
Oh, it seems important.
I feel like you could definitely like wear a blazer.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The patches on the elbows.
Exactly. Turtleneck it, just a blazer and turtleneck. Yeah. Sitting by a fire. Yeah. Let's go.
You should be teaching history in some university or something.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I think you've done a good job on this one.
I like it. I mean, the flavor is really good. It's not bitter or anything like that. The alcohol content is a bonus. Mm-hmm. It's smooth, malty type. You know what you said earlier. I'm going 8.5. I mean, I like it. Yeah.
So you like it like just a little bit more than I like it.
A little bit. Yeah. This is something I definitely will buy again.
Okay. Well, if you buy it again, 100%. I'll drink it again.
Okay. So perfect. But I'm gonna have to charge you. Yeah, we're talking about $5 a can.
Yeah, that's about what it is. Right. So, all right. Well, I guess that's what we got for the Grab 'em and the Brisket beer review. All right. Well, let's get ready to bring in our guests here, Michelle and Brandon, coming up real quick.
You know, smoking meats isn't just cooking; it's an art form. The aroma, those deep flavors, the patience—it's a whole experience.
And behind every great artist, there's the right set of tools. If you're aiming to build your own barbecue pit or dreaming of a custom design tailored just for you, SmokerBuilder.com has your back.
Led by Frank Cox, their expertise is unmatched. Offering blueprints, kits, and insights, they turn every barbecue dream into a flavorful reality.
Imagine your backyard, the center of attention, and at the heart of it, a smoker that's uniquely yours.
It's more than just equipment. It's about crafting those unforgettable moments. And with the guidance of Frank and his team, you're setting the stage for magic.
So whether you're a seasoned pit master or taking your first steps into the smoky world,
head over to SmokerBuilder.com, fill up your carts, and be sure to use the promo code GRABTHEBRISKET in all caps to receive your 10% discount. Smoke on.
Threw down some ribs last night, used the Chicks That Smoke Spicy Rub. Mind blown.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like the Chicks That Smoke Spicy Barbecue All-Purpose Rub, dude, it is a game changer for sure.
Yeah, if you folks have not given it a shot, you need to.
Honestly, your barbecue will thank you.
Chicks That Smoke, it's at SUCKLEBUSTERS.com.
You know, whether it's a casual backyard grilling session or high-pressure world barbecue competition, one thing's certain. The drink by your side needs to be ice cold.
Absolutely, and that's where Yeti coolers come in. Every time I'm grilling in my backyard, I trust Yeti to keep things cold.
And in the midst of barbecue competitions, with all that heat and intensity, Yeti's a game changer, ensuring those drinks stay chilled.
So whether you're perfecting the burger flip or aiming for barbecue gold, Yeti's got your back. Here's to cooler moments, no matter where you grill.
Cheers.
Hey, I'm Pantsless Aaron.
This is Stevie.
And I'm Augie. And we are BFYTW, a podcast all about playing games and having fun. Our games are usually based on British panel shows and game shows, but we'll play anything that captures our attention and imagination. Why? It's right there in the title.
You'll never guess what the F stands for.
All right, John, before you get into it, do you want to
Are you messing with me?
No, I'm not messing with you. Do you want to clarify? Okay, so we got kind of a not a running bet or whatever, but we're the pronunciation of your last name.
I married it. I'm not voting.
No, come on, let's hear it. I got to hear you butcher it first.
No, I said
okay, go.
I said O'Guen.
I was thinking O'Gwen.
Boom, you nailed it.
I did? Perfect.
O'Gwen.
Thank you. Oh, O'Gwen. Perfect. Oh, damn it.
Trust me, I've heard so much. That's one of my favorite things when the telemarketers call. If they can't pronounce it, you don't get a shot with me.
I love it.
Perfect. I'm going to say it wrong, I'm sure.
It's all good, man.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. All right. We've been teasing this interview all night, and here they are, Michelle and Brandon O'Gwen, Ain't It the Life barbecue competition team. These guys are World Wing champions. Both have been top 5 in the World Food Championships. Multiple SCA and ancillary wins. 30+ top team barbecue competition top 10s. And they are the judging chair and the reps for the Memphis in May, which I know we're going to dig into tonight. On top of all that, they got a kiddo that got second at the Royal last year, and with a breakfast burger, and he's in the Future of Q magazine. So this whole family's just out there.
That's freaking awesome.
Kicking barbecue ass.
Yeah. Hey, welcome in. How's everything going for you guys tonight?
Oh, good. We just finished up some prep for the Atoka Barbecue Contest tomorrow up here in Atoka, Tennessee. It's an MBN contest. We're doing pulled pork, ribs, beef. A friend of ours is doing bacon, and then my son is doing kids' dessert.
Man, y'all are busy. That sounds like a full day. MBN, that's the Memphis Barbecue Network. We don't hear a lot about that stuff down here. I'm gonna be honest with you, down here in Texas.
Well, a lot of that doesn't, like, we don't hear much about y'all stuff either. A lot of that seems to me it's really localized, and unless you know people in the region, you meet them at different contests. Like, we meet guys that, steak, they'll be from all over the place. But aside of that, we, like CBA, we don't get much news of that up this way, or aside of, the local KCBS stuff. Pretty much around here, all we get's MBN.
And the only thing I've seen is the friends that we've met along the way between SCA and the Texas teams we've met at the Royal that we've all become friends with. That's how we pick up on what y'all are doing down there with the half chickens and the briskets and the ribs and stuff.
Right. Well, y'all came down to the MBBQA down there in San Antonio and kicked our asses at the state competition there. That was fun. That was fun for us.
Yeah, I got first place in anything tri-tip.
Yeah. You did the what is it?
The beef Wellington?
Yes.
No, it was a Gouda grits with a tri-tip and a white wine mushroom cream sauce.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, so I'll be honest. We rolled into that competition not really knowing what the hell to do, and
that was our first SCA event.
Correct, yeah, SCA and the ancillary like tri-tip. We've been cooking tri-tip for years, but we only know how to cook tri-tip one way,
right?
And that's just serve it medium rare, and to perfection. And then we got there, and we're like, okay, well, you can't just serve it that way.
You have to do something with it.
You have to do something with it. And we're like, I don't understand. Like, what's happening here? So we got things were kind of shaking up for us a little bit. So luckily there was a HEB like right around the corner. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the HEBs, but we're like, okay, we're just gonna roll in there, just start grabbing a bunch of stuff, and we're gonna try to figure out something. I think we did tri-tip tacos or whatever.
They were good. I thought they were good.
Yeah, for sure.
You picked a heck of a contest for your first one with that storm that rolled through there in the middle.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah, I was holding on to one side of the tent, and then the lightning bolts are like striking like all across around us. I was like, hopefully this is not it, or where we just the good Lord decides to take us out. But if it is, like, hey, I mean, we went out doing what we love to do. So
what a way to go!
Exactly.
Your first trip to the World Food Championship.
Oh yeah. About the same thing. I was holding on to the tent with one hand, and I had my steak in the other hand, trying to get it on the grill. It was like, 30, 40 mile an hour straight line winds, just right when we had to turn in. It was horrible. That was my first one to World Food Championship. So, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's always badass. Like, I say badass. It's always nerve-wracking and whatever. But every competition that you do, there's always something. There's always something that maybe just goes wrong or just doesn't go your way, or the weather comes in and plays a factor, and the people that really have that process down and then can adapt and overcome on those challenges. You see them all the time, like yourselves, the people that are always in the top of the podium winning those championships. They're the ones that know how to, okay, I can adapt, I can change, I can adapt. We had one competition. We were I think it was helping out firefighters, and we had already turned in one of no, we might have gone into awards or judging. No, twofold. Yeah, we had Bloody Mary competition, and it was just a monsoon, and we ran out of. We didn't run out of, but one of the gentlemen forgot to bring the vodka, and so the only thing we had on hand was from the night before of us drinking was Fireball, and so we had Fireball, so we used Fireball as the alcohol for our Bloody Mary. So out of 100+ teams doing Bloody Mary, we end up coming up with first place using Fireball as the alcohol of choice.
I bet you all celebrated good on that one.
we did.
You're probably pissed there wasn't any Fireball left.
Exactly. And then later on, we started turning in some of our stuff. We went and turned in one category, and we come back, and it's like a big storm just kicked up, and you look up in the sky, and they were just everybody's pop-up tents were just like circling around,
tornado
and
tents.
it just dumped off like about 100 yards down. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we got to get a new pop-up tent. But yeah, there's always challenges to overcome.
Always.
Yeah.
It never fails, especially if you're in the South like we are. You never know what the weather's going to do. It's kind of like that when we were in Texas last time too, but it's always like that around here. It's likely to be, 70 degrees in the morning and then 30 at night. The next morning it'll be 80 and raining sideways. You just never know. So we dress for all 4 seasons here.
Yeah. In a single day.
In a single day. You just got to be ready for it, We're just glad it's almost summer. Then we just know it's hot. You just can't take off anymore after you reach a certain point, right? It doesn't help.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the key, right? You got to be able to overcome, be consistent, overcome whatever the crap they're going to throw at you. So this is our first time having you on. Can we dive in a little bit? Like, how'd you get into this barbecue game? I know you guys have been doing this for a long time. I think you said 2013 is when the team came together. So
that's when we got together and created our team. I've been competing in barbecue, or actually started as an organizer back in 2007. I was starting helping organizing some MBN Memphis Barbecue Network events. Friends got me involved with that, and then I joined a barbecue team, FNA Barbecue, back in 2009, and rode that train for a little bit with some friends and hanging out, being part of the team members, helping out with dishes or learning how to do pork and how to do ribs and this, that, and the other. And then when Brandon and I met actually at Memphis in May in 2013, I brought him into my new hobby habit, is what I call it. And he's been kind of hooked ever since, and kind of taken the lead as our head cook. And done a really good job with it. We've learned a lot over the years and grown as a team, and learning who's got the strengths and the weaknesses and how to work with each other.
Okay. So do you guys kind of each pick a category and you run with it, or how does that work?
Well, since now we have the 9-year-old.
Yeah, we had tried that for a while. Honestly, man, when we cook, everything's truly a team effort. We've got another guy that cooks with us, 1 or 2 that kind of pop in and out. And really everything's just kind of a team effort. Most everything we've been working on for the last, 4 or 5 years has really truly been us all getting in the kitchen, trying to develop the flavor profile that we want to run, tweaking our tenderness, checking all that stuff, too many practice cooks and bad ribs and stuff to get to where we are now, so it really is a team thing. So
we learned when not to drink at Cooks.
Yeah, we learned when and what not to drink at Cooks, more than once on that, I'll be honest. But it's just one of those things we found working together. Instead of saying, hey, you do the pork and you do the ribs, we found it works better that way. Everybody knows what's going on. If one person doesn't happen to be there for an event, it's not a big deal for somebody else to step in and do that part.
We've gotten really organized with our recipes, our timelines, our schedules, how things are trimmed, how things are prepped, and all that good stuff. So between all the 3 of us that are on there, we are very interchangeable.
Perfect. And for the listeners, we'll just post those recipes and timelines down below. Just scroll down. We're going to post.
Yeah, they'll be way down there at the bottom.
Way down. Yeah, and that's always like you mentioned the drinking. I mean, that's something that we and any probably new cook-off team that's out there that is really trying to take it off to the next level. and that's something that you probably need to watch. You need to curve back and just at least wait until after things have been turned in, and then you can start celebrating. Because we've sabotaged ourselves so many times doing competitions because maybe we did have a little too many fireballs the night before, or maybe you continued to keep drinking. And you had that one person that's like, hey, I'm going to stay up with the fire, or hey, I'm going to get up and light the fire, and they never do. And that's something to be mindful.
That's happened before.
Yeah, that has. That's what we cooked like a 1.5, 2 hour rib at a contest one time because of that same thing.
First with it there.
We did, but you gotta, what they say, improvise, adapt, overcome, and that's no matter what, right? So barbecue is always a challenge.
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
It's self-inflicted.
Yeah, we had a guy doing one of our competitions the night before. We all hung out, we all drank, we all had a great time at this little bar that we're at. And so he goes home and he's like, I'll be back. And keep in mind, we probably shut it down at like 2:00 ish. I'm going to go home. I'm going to shower and I'm going to come right back. And then I'm going to start doing whatever. I'm like, okay. And so the next morning rolled around. We're drinking coffee, got breakfast going. We're starting fires. We're doing our thing. And all of a sudden he's not there. And then 10 o'clock rolls around, he's not there. 11 o'clock rolls around, he's not there. And it's in the turn in for the brisket at that time was, I think it was 5 o'clock.
He wasn't on your team though. He was another team. Right?
Was not on our team. He was on another team. It's his pit's sitting right next to us. And it's like, I mean, we're at a competition. I mean, I'd light your pit, but I mean, we're competing. And so he shows up.
Let it go.
You're the one guy I don't have to worry about.
We let it go. And so he shows up like probably, I'm going to say around noon, maybe about 1 o'clock, and the pit's not lit. The brisket's still in the cooler, and he gets there and he loads his firebox up with so much wood, so much just fire starter, little bricks, and he ignites it, just lights it up. And he's got a roaring fire. I mean, it's like 500 degrees, 600 degrees. And then it settles down a little bit, but he's still cooking like about 400, 500, 600, 500 degrees, 400 degrees. And that brisket went on. And as soon as they hit that grate, it was just like sizzling. He did his thing. He cooked that brisket in probably 4 hours. And in hindsight, looking back on how people do briskets nowadays with the smaller cuts and doing them on drum cookers and doing the hot and fast method, it was something that he kind of just stumbled upon. And so he cooked his brisket for like 2 to 3 hours, wrapped it. It was done in another hour, and then it went into cooler. And lo and behold, he came down with first place brisket and just kicked all our butts. And I was like, terrible.
Asshole.
Yeah. It happens. I've seen it happen a lot.
That's just awful. So how did y'all get involved with Memphis in May?
I got involved, it was probably about 2007, 2008 with the same friends that got me into helping organize other contests. Just like I was bored, new to the city. Say, come do this with me. And I volunteered as an ambassador, what they call contestant ambassadors, for like the liaison for the teams between the event and them. It's pretty much just the little helper between the event there, making sure they have the information they need and stuff like that. And I've been there ever since. I think about halfway through there, probably about 2010 or 9, I actually went to the judging committee and started helping there in the judging tent and learning more about that process and how to oversee that. And that's how I'm there. And then
I was actually employed for Memphis in May, in 13 as seasonal help. A friend of mine was the one who oversaw the barbecue and handled some of the music fest stuff and some of the stuff for vendors. And she hired a seasonal person every year. And I was in between things at the time. And she said, hey, come work for me. I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I worked for them. And then the committee that she was on was having some real issues that year. I can't even remember what all it was, but they were like,
people didn't show up.
And they said, hey, we need you to go down there and just make it happen. And we did, and we pulled it off. And I think I tended bar for 3 or 4 hours and hung signs and hauled
whatever needed done,
crap everywhere and this and that and the other. And then we met, and since then I jumped straight over into the judging committee, and
Been here ever since.
Been there ever since. It took us a few years to, we had a couple of people that were in it in front of us who were in charge, and then
They parted ways.
they parted ways with them, and then I think we've been there, one of us or both of us, since 2016.
16.
Have been the chair. We kind of take turns now, and we got another person that we kind of rotate with.
Yeah. But he's the face on the microphone. He does all the cooks meetings, the judge briefings, herds the cats.
Yeah.
I'm in the trailer with the auditors and sending all the reports, doing the admin stuff, posting results, sending all the reports and information to the staff so they can read the results on stage.
Okay. So a lot of our listeners are in, I would say probably 75% of them are in Texas, and they know Memphis and May, but they don't know Memphis and May. They know it's a different animal, right? Because it's its own sanctioning body. It's its own.
Yep.
Can you guys explain kind of a little bit how it works, how it's different than some of the other ones out there?
Yeah. So what sets us apart? It's a couple of things. First off, we use comparative scoring. That's a lot different than a lot of what you see in KCBS and
Or the rest of
or pretty much everything else. So what that means is that if you were put on a table, on a blind table, they're similar to KCBS. It's 5 or 6 entries per table, something like that, right? The only difference is that you were scored against what's on that table, and only what's on that table. That's what you're judged against that day. And the judges at that table have to pick a winner on their card, and that's how they denote that's a 10.
and down from there.
And then down from there. And that's kind of how that component of it works. So the blind component is just like you would see at any other contest you've ever been to. You put your meat in a blind box. We just don't allow garnish. So it's meat only, no foil, no nothing on our pork stuff for Saturday. And then, let's see. Ancillaries are totally different animal. We can get into that later. But, then we do an on-site component to our judging as well. So, and that's to where the judge actually comes to your team. We send 3 judges out one at a time. They come to your team. You get to give a 10 to 15 minute presentation. Tell them about your team, how you got started, how you got your product from start to finish, what you cooked on. It's pretty much just your chance to tell your bullshit story about how your barbecue's the greatest in the world.
Right. Show the shit.
And that's it. I mean, and that's really what it is.
The 3 meats.
Yeah, and we have 3 categories there. We do whole hog, we do whole shoulders, and ribs. That's another thing that separates us from the others. You can only do one category at Memphis in May. So whichever one is your best, that's the one you pick to run with. We've had a lot of champs that have been whole hogs and shoulders, and we had a rib last year for the first time in 20-something years. 21 years. So, and that has been, like I said, 21 years before we had some guys come close. We had a guy win ribs 3 years in a row, but just never put it over to get the grand.
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting. And I was going to say, the way it operates, like I said, a portion of your scores comes from each of them. Then we add those together.
And then rank them.
And then we rank them, and then we take the top 3 teams
from each
division, hog, shoulder, and rib, and then they all go against each other in the finals. So we send 4 judges around all at the same time to all 9 teams, and then they have to rank those teams 1 through 9. And that final ranking right there between the 4 finals judges, that averages out and shows us who our grand champion is.
Okay.
What's really crazy is that it's typically the 4 finals judges don't agree.
No.
It's very strange that when they do, like I know last year they definitely did not. And it's really interesting to see how they rank things and what they think about it. So it's definitely, that's probably what makes us much different than any other contest you see.
Okay,
I've
so
seen it to where some have went in third overall in their category and come out as a GC.
Yeah, it can happen.
So your scores are right clean. So your GC score, the final scores only count in the final round. They don't add in the preliminary scores with it. So you definitely have a shot from going at the bottom of the barrel to coming up top if you try hard enough.
well, that's kind of cool. Once you're in it, once you're in the tournament, you're in it, right?
Yeah,
Just gotta
exactly.
get there.
Yeah, all you got to be is in the top 3, and you're there.
What does that timetable look like? Because if you're getting judged or whatever, and then if you make it to that top 9 and you have to get judged again, what's the time from the first time to come around judge until the second time? And are these guys, are you just serving the same thing, or you have a backup?
I think you're doing separate.
No, usually we stack. Like for example, when we go to Toke, it's almost the same format that we're going to be doing this weekend. So if we were to make finals like in pork, there's another round. So we stagger our pork and our ribs. So we'll always pick, put your favorite ones in the front in the prelim
Because you got to get there.
You got to get to the dance, and put your, worst case, put your crappier ones in the finals because at least you're there. You're in the money.
Okay.
Yeah, as we say, we'll take third with a smile on our face. It's fine.
Right.
Especially,
Especially if you ain't got it. But so that's kind of how that works. But the timeline typically, so at Memphis in May, our finals start around 2:00.
and that's with the ribs.
And that's with our first category, which turns in at like
11
o'clock, 10:45 to 11 in the morning.
So we have a couple hours.
So you have to do your blind box. That goes in from 10:45 to 11. And then at 11 o'clock, you get your 3 on-site judges, which you get to keep for 15 minutes maximum. So that's 45 minutes you could be judging there. Then we have to get all those cards back from all the on-site judges, tabulate everything. That typically takes us about an hour and a half per category for ribs, which is our biggest one. And then we notify the team. So we try to give them always about an hour.
Minimum of an hour.
A minimum hour's notice.
Sometimes they get more.
To where they know that they finaled. We try to give them more.
Gives them time to set their booth up, make it look snazzy, get some extra glaze on that finals ribs, get them, all that good stuff they want to get going and get ready.
Okay. So what if they're doing the whole hog? Are they doing more than one of these whole hogs if they just in case they finals?
Oh yeah. Most of our whole hog guys cook at least 2. I've seen guys cook 3, 4 even.
Because on that, when they're doing the blind box, they'll use one side of the hog to build a blind box. Then they'll turn it around and use that other side for on-site presentation.
Oh, I get you.
And then they always most of them like to have a clean, untouched whole hog for finals.
Dang, I think you got to have some sponsors in this Indian.
Yeah. It's not cheap.
It's not a cheap contest, but honestly, I mean, a couple of whole hogs ain't no more than a few Gold Gary briskets from Snake River or something.
No kidding, I bought those. They're not cheap.
Yeah.
A 4 meat contest ain't cheap either. That's the way we look at it.
I mean, yeah. I think what we spent to go to the Royal one year, I think we spent almost $2,000 in meat.
Oh yeah, easy, and that's about what we spend in an MBN usually.
Only 2.
Depending on if we do all 3, it's somewhere in that ballpark too. If you use the good high quality stuff,
Yeah, I was going to ask you, other than like maybe not turning in on time, is there anything that you guys are looking for specifically? That is like that's not going.
That's your department.
Yeah, that is the least fun part of my job. So, like I said, the key component for us is that everything must be cooked whole, right? So you can't take the money muscles off of your shoulders and wrap them up nice and pretty and then slice them. They have to stay attached. So if we see a money muscle that's got bark all the way around it, you get to visit from me. You have to show me where it came from and how that happened, and then loin on whole hogs, things like that. We just look for things like that where we can tell that you separated parts and during the cooking process, which is against our rules.
Yeah. What if it was just a special hog that just had it was just separated already?
You'd believe the stories we've heard.
I've heard all kinds of things. I had one guy, it's like, just show me where it came from. Prove it to me. And he goes, well, right there. And I said, okay, let's line it up. Sure enough, it fits. So, okay, we're good.
Puzzle match.
But, we try not to pick people's stuff apart. It's only if it's obvious or if someone calls me and says, hey, this dude's cheating. Which, by the way, if you know barbecue cooks, no one ever does this. I beg them all the time. They say, so-and-so's cheating, so-and-so's cheating. Oh, that guy's cheating inside that trailer, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, call me when you see it, and I'll come check it out. If they're cheating, we'll throw them out of here. It's fine. I don't have any problem doing that, right? I never get any phone calls.
Last year you got a call.
Nobody hardly ever emails me.
You got a call last year.
1 out of 10 years. I mean, the point is nobody ever really calls, so if no one reports anything, it's hard for us to go find it. We look in the blind boxes if we see stuff that's obvious.
We'll have a conversation.
That's where we go have conversations. The only other thing we ever really catch is on our ancillaries, we don't allow edible garnish in the box.
Inedible.
only edible garnish, no inedible. So if you leave a toothpick or a skewer or something like that, we find that we have to disqualify you for that.
And that's for safety of our judges. We did have one of our judges get impaled by a toothpick one year.
That was not fun.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
There was a toothpick hidden inside a shrimp,
Yeah.
and she couldn't see it. So when she bit into it, it stabbed the roof of her mouth and started bleeding.
Yeah, at the table, that was fun.
Yeah.
We had to get her off the table, and I had to go explain to the guy why he got disqualified. And I just showed him a little picture with the toothpick and said, "Here you go. Is that yours?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "You see the toothpick?" He goes, "Oh God."
Oh.
Like I said, I'd never want to have that conversation with anybody. We tell them all the time, like, we're the most team centric judging people you can have, because that's all we do. I tell everybody all the time, Memphis and May is the only contest that I can't cook, and I won't cook because we can't. So I always go with the cooks. I try to make sure that if anything benefits anyone, it benefits the cooks.
Mm-hmm.
I give them the benefit of the doubt, probably sometimes more than I should. But look, it's all about having a good time and trying to be fair. If we see something completely out of the ordinary, we'll obviously address it, but it's not a very common thing.
Now, do you guys? Is there any tagging of meats there, or is it just
no? We don't do like they
inspection?
do in Houston. I came down there a couple of years ago and got to experience that with the Operation Barbecue Relief Team, and they wanted me to see how that worked because of what I do at Memphis in May, and I would be interested to do something like that. For us, it's just
Training people to manage it properly right now.
As always, Houston has one of the greatest volunteer pools that I've ever seen put together. That event particularly, they do a really great job, top to bottom. And we have a great volunteer program in Memphis.
I do volunteer for the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, the barbecue competition.
Don't get him started. Good Lord.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
I saw the pride on his face when he started tooting the horn.
Look, as someone who does this and who puts on large-scale events like Memphis in May, I was seriously impressed by what they did down there. It is a very top-notch run event, top to bottom. Everything I saw was great. There's a lot of things that they do similar to us, and there's a lot of things they do different than us just because they can. We're not laid out in the same type fashion that they are at all.
It takes a lot of volunteers, a lot.
It does. And we have a great volunteer program. I am not disparaging our volunteer program at all. We have a huge volunteer program. We have 500 or 600 at least
for the whole month.
For the whole month. I mean, we have a huge volunteer program for the size event that we put on. And we've been involved with it for many years now. We've got a great team that works with us. We could not do it without them. It's not just me and her in the tent. We have,
we've built a base of about 15 returning volunteers that have been with us for at least the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
So it's gotten a lot easier for us that we don't have to train new people every year. They just have their assigned roles. I know what they do every year. We've come in on autopilot, and it's gotten a lot more, easier for us. So it's been good.
So is this a competition that you have to win to get in? How do you get to compete in this?
It used to be a while back. I think before 2007, it used to be a one where you had to win it to get it. It used to be sanctioned, and they would go all over the country. I think Memphis and May got out of that at a certain point because they wanted to focus on more other things. So right now, it's just a first come, first serve who puts their application in kind of thing. So pretty much anybody in Texas that wanted to come out and cook, they just, when the applications go out, fill it out, put it in. I know there are some teams that are in Texas or team members of other teams that actually come and help some teams in Memphis. For example, Joey Machado comes down and Rob Ochoa comes out. Yeah. I'm sure there's a few other ones I can't think of off the top of my head.
There's guys from all over the place. There's people from San Antonio, Houston floating around.
They'll come join one of the teams that are here locally. Just one, they don't have as much of expense, but they still get to experience the whole, Memphis and May experience there as well. So definitely anybody that doesn't want to for the first year coming out to it, definitely encourage them to reach out and say, hey, I'd like to come out and join, piggyback on a team. These teams are always looking for help because they're doing such big scale catering events too that they want a little help with. To help, the catering events are to help afford, all this meat in this space and all that good stuff. So there's a lot of entertaining going on. Thursday, Friday are our bigger party nights. So we have 2 big party nights, and Saturday's pretty much dead silent, all business. That's our big money day.
Okay. So for your judges, are they have to be like certified or anything like that? Or are they?
Yeah, we host a training class once a year. We were doing it in the fall. We moved it to the spring this year.
I'd like to keep it there.
I'd like to keep it there too. We certify roughly around 100 judges a year. All of our judges that you see on site at Memphis MA or have been at least through the class. Most of our judges have been there. I'd say on average, most of our judges are at least 5 to 10 years experience.
We have some that are a lot more than that.
We have some that are a lot more. We have some that have been judging barbecue since the 80s.
Oh, wow.
They've been here since we've started, you know.
Yeah, and they come from all over. We get judges from Germany, England, Australia.
Yeah, oh yeah. We have tons of international judges. We last year I think we pulled judges from probably 20 states, 4 or 5 foreign countries last year alone. And that changes year to year, you know, obviously, just depending.
Like COVID hurt it a while for internationals to come for a few years. I think we're just now getting a lot of the internationals back. Yeah,
finally. And then, you know, we've had, I'm trying to think, like, we've had people from all over the place. It's never a dull moment in the judging tent. But even our guys that come from all over, we've got one guy that's been coming from England for like the last 10 years. I see him every year. He comes over. With 2 guys. I got one guy from Germany, one guy from England. They come over every year. They love it. They keep coming back. They're great judges. They really are.
Too. So our ancillary categories actually run on Thursday and Friday because we have so many. So there's
5 one day and 4
5
the other.
on Thursday and 4 on Friday, and then you have the pork categories on Saturday.
Wow.
So Thursday is the sauces, which is tomato sauce, mustard sauce, vinegar sauce. Then we have hot wings, and then we have turkey.
Yep.
And then Friday is beef, seafood, poultry, and exotic. And then obviously Saturday's whole hog, whole shoulder, rib, and then we brought back patio this year finally. So patio's back.
And our patio,
which is our backyard.
It's our backyard type division. They only cook ribs. The only difference for our patio division is they don't do on-site judging for the preliminary round, only for the finals. So they just turn in a blind box. We take the top 3 blind boxes, and then they get to do an on-site presentation for 15 minutes maximum.
And the winner of that category is no longer allowed to stay in patio. They have to move up to ribs next.
Yeah. If you win, you move up.
We have teams that will throw it on purpose every year. Yeah. Like, you gotta tell them that story. That was funny. Oh yeah,
that's one of the greatest presentations I've ever seen, because you hear all kinds of stuff. People tell all kinds of stories, but this team, they've been in our patio division for years, as long as I can remember. And they keep finaling because they're pretty dang good cooks, but they don't want to win because they don't want to be forced to move up. So this year they finaled, and the guy went behind the thing, and he put probably an entire handful of like Morton's sea salt, like all over the top of the ribs right before he brought them out. Sets them out on the table. He steps out from behind the back of the trailer. Pop opens a beer and slams the entire beer right in front of the judges, and then just lets out this huge burp. He's like, "Hey, I'm what's his name, head cook and lead tour bus driver here at the whatever team they were, And he goes on and on. He tells this whole story. He's like, "You guys want a shot? How about a bourbon? This and that and the other.
Here's some ribs.
Here's some ribs. Just eat up. Tell me what you think." And then he just throws the whole thing on purpose to not win. It was the greatest presentation I've ever seen.
I don't think I've ever seen you try to hold in a laugh for so long.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I can't say anything, and I can't interfere, so I'm holding back. Like I'm over there in the corner, like dying, and be like telling all the people I needed signs. It's like hush, like they hold up at a golf course. I need some of those for everybody, because everybody's like trying to hold in. I'm like, y'all shut up, please let him finish. It took everything I had. It was the greatest.
Did they give them second or third?
I think they got second that year, so the third place must have really been bad. But
oh man,
do you have a favorite category that you like to judge?
Me?
Yeah, but
I like to judge hog because I like bacon.
Yeah. That is the benefit of judging whole hog, is typically the teams give you some bacon when you get done.
I like loin too. I like loin and bacon are my favorite parts of the whole hog. But yeah, I like judging whole hog because you do get a diverse section of meats versus just one or the other. That's just me.
I like cooking shoulder, so that's probably my favorite one to judge, I guess. But whole hog has always been one of my favorites too. Like I said, the thing about hog is you've got 3 parts. You have to turn in all 3 parts. You got to do the ham, shoulder, and the loin
Perfectly.
and they've all got to be perfect, and they all got to be done together.
And you can't take them off the pig.
You can't take them off the pig and separate them, and you can't cook extra stuff. So it's really interesting to see it when it's done perfectly. And there's some really great techniques and some really great whole hog cooks. There's almost everyone who's ever won Memphis in May with a hog. They do stuff that will blow your mind when it comes to that.
Yeah,
the technique is crazy.
I need to be a fly on a wall on that one.
Right.
There.
Yeah. The whole hog, like we just don't do that very much down here. But even just trying to keep the point and the flat on our brisket to finish around the same time is tough enough for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not easy, man. That the hog cook is definitely a difficult cook. Of course, I wouldn't say that anybody at Memphis and May's really got an advantage in any category, because it's just as hard to hold a tiny little slab of ribs that's cut down for competition cooking.
Especially if there's a weather delay.
Especially if there's a delay or something, because we are rain or shine, but if it's a tornado, we have to stop. We've had to evacuate the park. We've had to evacuate the park a couple of times during judging. We had lightning strike like on site. Was it when we were at Tiger Lane a couple of years ago? We've had to evacuate several times.
Was that 22?
Yeah, 22. I think that was our last evacuation, was in 22, and that was during turn-ins. Luckily it was on Friday, so it was during our ancillaries. But if we told you it was due at 10:45, and next thing you know it's 4 and you got to turn in,
you got to learn either how to punt, reboot, or adjust.
Yeah, so it's
hey, that's those curveballs we were talking about. You got to adapt and overcome, right? That's the whole thing. That's a big one though. When you're at Memphis.
Oh yeah, well, and that's where we try to make sure, as the organizers, that if we do have a delay, we try to make sure that we give the cooks plenty of time to punt and reboot.
Or adjust.
Or adjust. I think that day we did, it was like seafood and exotic hadn't been turned in yet. So we decided, hey, when we knew we got the all clear, we could let everybody back in the park. I said, we've got to give these guys at least 2 or 3 hours so they can start over.
Some of them had to go back to the store.
Some of them had to go back to the store, during the storm, and get more stuff. Like you said, it's all that adapting and overcoming. The barbecue is not a fair weather sport.
I remember one year we were on the river and they evacuated. There were people at the gate when they were starting to let them back in with fresh chicken, just ready to go in, start over with chicken.
Wow.
That is crazy. So you mentioned Tiger Lane. You guys have, Memphis and May has changed locations a couple times in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I've sort of been following along with this. I don't totally get all of it that's going on. I don't know if you guys can talk about that at all.
How about it?
We can talk about it a little bit. I don't think anyone knows fully what is going on.
Well, we were at Tiger Lane 2 years ago in 22 because they were renovating the park at Tom Lee Park.
I'll give you the quick synopsis version. So Tom Lee Park downtown was the historic home for Memphis in May since the late 80s, early 90s, since I was a pretty young kid. After that, we only had 1 year that we weren't there, was in 2011. The park actually flooded. The Mississippi River came over the banks and completely flooded the park out. We had to move the event. Side of that, a few years ago, I guess it was
22 because of renovation.
Well, I know, 2021, they started tossing the idea around that they were going to redo Tom Lee Park.
Make it more tourist friendly.
Make it more tourist friendly, make it more user friendly, whatever the shtick was with it. So we knew that we were going to be moved out of the park while it was under renovation, which was the initial year in 22. Because they had to complete the stuff, and there was no way they could get it done within the 1 year time frame. That's understandable for a huge construction project like that. So we knew we were going to be out that year. The following year, we made the return to the new unfinished or partially finished Tom Lee Park, which when it got done, we realized that maximum at our layout, the way we had been doing barbecue for the way we had been doing it. We could only fit 150 teams max on the new park.
Before we were 230.
Before we were 230 to 240. I think our largest was 247, 248 a few years ago. So we were consistently over 200. And then after they redid the park, we realized there was no way that we could go back into it with any more than 150. Last year we had the event and the weather was not nice to us from the weeks leading up to the event all the way through our load in. And by the end of the week, it was fairly nice. The weather itself was good, but the park was...
you imagine heavy equipment on freshly laid sod.
Heavy equipment, freshly laid sod, freshly this. So they, the people who manage the park, which is not the city of Memphis, it's its own separate entity, Memphis River Parks Partnership, handed Memphis in May a $1.4 million damage bill for our use of the park last year.
Yeah.
That's still ongoing litigation. I cannot comment any further.
You don't know anything about
I don't know anything about it anyway. Well above my pay grade. I'm just a volunteer. But I'm just make that clear so they don't come after me for this interview.
Right.
Yeah, Memphis and May decided it was not viable to stay down there. One, because of the reduction of teams, and two, because that was just going to be an ongoing problem year over year that, that obviously nobody can really afford that kind of damage bill, and you can't pass that on to the teams. That's already expensive enough to be there. So right now they've opted to move back to Tiger Lane for right now until they can see if this is the permanent home or if there's another more viable permanent home going forward.
Memphis and May is still exploring other options, but at the way our city is currently set up, Tiger Lane is probably the best place for us to do an event like that. Logistically,
it's center city.
It's in the center of the city. It's easy to get trailers in and out of.
It's on asphalt.
It's on asphalt, so we don't have to worry about mud and tearing the park up or anything like that.
We actually have physical buildings we can run judging and stuff out of, some tents.
We're in a building with real power instead of a generator in a tent, So it has its benefits, and of course, it does have its downside. We're not on the river, and the view's great down there. And if you've ever stood along the mighty Mississippi, it's pretty cool. But we're there to crown a world champion and have a real barbecue contest with as many teams as we can fit in there, and we couldn't fit more than 150. And I think we're at a good spot. I think going forward, I don't see any reason why we can't come back like we were. I will say that I've noticed as a whole, I think a lot of attendance is down at barbecue events across the country.
Mm-hmm.
Inflation.
I think it's just, the climate of everything that's going on, or maybe just burnout because there are so many contests.
I've noticed a lot of attrition.
But I'm noticing it. Like we used to go to state contests a few years ago. Every one we went to, there were 75 teams at it. Now we go, there's maybe 30. Barbecue's the same way around here. We were at 60, 70 team contests, and now, a good contest. The one we're doing this weekend's at 60.
Ours that we do in Arlington's stays the same as Atoka does.
Yeah.
We average about 60 teams. But a lot of the ones I'm seeing, they're down. I've seen a KCBS contest that's coming up soon. They're begging for teams. He's emailing like twice a week begging for teams.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, I just think that's some thing that's going on generally across the board. But I think we're in good shape going forward. I like where we're at Tiger Lane. I enjoy it. I know the teams enjoy loading in and out on concrete much better than they do.
Well, they don't have to pay for flooring.
Yeah, they don't have to pay for flooring. We don't have to have scaffolding set up. It's a little different. So that's kind of the gist of it. There's a lot more in-depth stuff that has been going on in fighting for a while.
Yeah, we were hoping you'd spill the tea and just tell us all the drama, but we're going to be very correct.
So a lot of that drama is between team members who got overly passionate about the Smoke Slam being down there. From our point of view, I wish that contest well. I mean, I hate that they picked that same weekend, because if they picked a different one, we go cook it.
Yeah.
Shoot, that's a good pot of money I'd like to chase after, but I'm obviously obligated to be where we're at. We looked at the numbers that they got. We looked at the numbers we got. If they weren't having their event and all those teams came to ours, we still wouldn't be where we were at. So there's definitely numbers down all over, no matter what. I know the biggest concern I'm hearing, and I've talked to people just, in passing at stores or whatnot, is the concern that the other contest is not going to be able to get enough judges. Because their format that they went with is the exact same format we have, which is not traditional Memphis Barbecue Network format. It's their old way, not the current way. And that does cause an issue, because when you do on-site prelim and on-site finals, and blind, it does require a significant amount more judges than if you were just do blind only.
Yeah.
So from our point of view, we're fine on our judges. We've reached what we need in our capacity. We actually have a wait list right now. But from what I understand is that the other contest is still looking for some more judges that are certified and trained. I know.
Well, I know they're looking for World Food judges too,
yeah.
because the ancillaries that they're doing downtown are through World Food.
Yeah. They got some golden tickets there for the World Food Championships, and they require them to be Eat Method certified. In the Memphis area, I don't think there's that many Eat Method certified judges, and I don't know how many are traveling from out of town to do that. So I think they're trying to rally up some. I know the Memphis Barbecue Network is also hosting a lot of new judging classes here lately just to help beef up their judge pool to see if they can get some more judges, signed up for their event as well. And I hope they get it for the team's sake, because there's a lot of our friends that are cooking down there. And I don't want to see them get screwed over, because there's not the right kind of judging going on. Not that the reps wouldn't do a good job, but that there's not the right certified judges there present, or if meat has to hold while they go from one table to the other or whatnot. Right. I don't know how they're going to manage that, and I hope they are able to figure it out.
Well, like I said, we know pretty much everyone that's putting the contest on. We've been friends with them for years.
Some of them trained us.
Some of them, we've worked. The girls, several of the girls that are putting it on were the ones that trained us to do what we do. So we're friends with these people. We wish them, a good event. I have no ill will towards the actual people that are putting the event, like the people who are doing the contest.
Correct.
I got
the people that picked the date. We were kind of when they came out was a WTF, and
that's a different story. I think it's in
sketch.
poor taste, and we'll just say that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think I'm on the same page there, but I love that it's all good. It's all barbecue family, all love.
Look, I mean, what good does it do me to wish them ill will? Like I said, I mean, I've got hundreds of friends that are down there cooking. And cooking in various capacities. We've got friends that are doing demos down there. We've got friends that are cooking in the Junior Barbecue League contest down there. We've got friends that are, running the judging. We've got friends that are doing, doing everything down there. We know somebody who did pretty much everything that you can imagine. So we want it to go well for them. I mean, it looks bad on our city if it doesn't go well. Right. And that's what got me into working for Memphis in May. I'm proud to be from Memphis. I like my city. I try to represent it well, and that's what it's about to us. And I wish them the best down there. Good luck. We had a lot of fun down there in that park last year. I hope they do too.
I'm curious to see how their load in, load out goes and all the other stuff, because I just know what a nightmare it was.
I was going to say, logistically, that park was a nightmare. It wasn't easy to load in and out of before they redesigned it. Last year was the worst. And, I wish them all the best.
No, I love that. Yeah, I'm always kind of the jokester and thinking about man, dude, can I just imagine just like a Anchorman style meetup where the and Memphis in May just meet up in one centralized location. Alley. Yes, everybody's got their whole hogs and just chunking meats at each other and just
throwing tenderloins.
Yeah,
I love it.
It would be for a great time for sure. But
a great cross wrestling event.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's go.
Well, hey, Michelle, Brandon, we appreciate y'all giving us time. I know we took more time than I said we were going to, but I love having y'all.
Yeah, it's been awesome talking with you guys.
Do this again for sure.
Oh, absolutely, anytime.
Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Wants to find you guys on the social medias, or if you have websites or anything like that, where do they go?
Ain't It the Life? On Facebook, it's just Ain't It the Life.
Yeah, and then Ain't It the Life BBQ on Instagram, and then ain'titthelife.com is our website, it's our link to our catering stuff where we do our daily stuff.
Yeah, or our personal socials that are our names.
All right, and I'll put up some links down below.
John's gonna have it
down
somewhere.
My son knows what that means. He's like, comment, follow,
comment.
Yeah.
Definitely hit the like button.
Scroll down,
like,
do all
follow,
those
share,
things.
Right?
Exactly. Do all those things. Hey, we appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Right, Thank you
Enjoyed it, guys. Thanks.
They're great, and I love that it was not I was waiting to ask those kind of questions at the end. I wanted to ask about Smoke Slam, and I was like, should I ask? Should I not ask? I don't want to poke a bear.
Never really wanted to get into that because I'm sure they probably filled a lot of those questions, and leading up to the point in time that they're right around the corner from the big competition, and this has been going on for year plus. And so I'm sure every show or every event or whatever they've gone to, they had to fill these type of questions or whatever. So we weren't trying to get all up into the business.
Too much drama.
We get a little information out there to the people.
That was for the people. For Brandon and Michelle. Sorry we had to ask, but it's for the people. Right. I think we're just about done here, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you just a really quick hypothetical. And I don't know what teams are cooking at what event, but if we had let me just throw it out there, a Malcolm Reed going up against Heath Riles.
Are we doing Anchorman? Is that what we're doing right
Yes.
now? Yeah, okay. I feel like you need a couple more because there's usually like 4 different teams, isn't there?
Okay. Let me just let me think about this here for a second here.
You got a Myron Mixon team maybe in there?
Definitely Myron Mixon team. The Mixons with like this long hair just like flowing back. You know what I mean?
The Mixon boys?
Yeah, the Georgia Peaches. Like, come on now.
I love it. I love it.
Who else do you have out there?
I feel like you have to have a Texas team. You have to have a Texas
100%
team.
Texas team. Who we throwing out there for Texas?
You got Bill Purvis.
Bill Purvis, Chicken Fry.
Yeah, you got the Aaron Leslie. These are some big boys.
Aaron Leslie.
These guys.
Yeah. Are these guys, are they ganging together?
So
100%.
We going, yeah. Team
Bill
Texas.
Purvis,
Yeah.
Aaron Leslie, Fred Robles.
Oh, yeah. They're done. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Team Mixon, Team Reed, and Team Riles. I love y'all. I love all y'all. But Team Texas, we're going to slap you with the brisket.
I'd like to see. Look, hey, nobody steal my idea. I mean, but I'd like to see that competition.
Why did I just picture someone getting stabbed with like a T-bone?
She's like, let me just clean this meat off real quick. We're not going to waste this. Let's go. Awesome interview with Michelle and Brandon. Super knowledgeable people when it comes to the cooking, judging. It's a certainly, I'm going to say asset. It's certainly nice to have somebody that of that caliber to be able to pick their brains and learn a little bit about, because I'm sure they've forgotten more than what we've actually learned about doing barbecue. So honestly, it is a pleasure to be able to talk barbecue with them.
Peace.
Thanks, everybody. We've been great. As we close out, big thanks to SmokerBuilder.com and the MBBQA for their unwavering support.
Absolutely. And cheers to Barbecue News Magazine, SUCKLEBUSTERS, and Dow Strong Knives for their contributions.
And you know Yeti always has our back, and Coolie Nation ensures our drinks stay perfectly cold.
Lastly, props to Cambro Manufacturing and, of course, the Spicy Nut, the Chicks of Smoke Seasoning. Thanks to all for powering this show.
Until next time, keep smoking.